What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated, the show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. So if you love watches like I do, you're going to want to subscribe to the show. Today, we're going to be talking another cool watch in a movie. Back to Apocalypse Now, and the watch, the Seiko 6105. Here we go. This is the second watch from the movie Apocalypse Now to be featured on this show. It's the Seiko 6105. It's an automatic diver's watch. It came out in the year 1970 and enjoyed an 8-year run until 1977. This particular dive watch was popular with a lot of soldiers in the Vietnam War, as it came out kind of in the tail end of the war there, and it was sold heavily in PX stores. In Apocalypse Now, the main character, Captain Willard, played by Martin Sheen, wore the Seiko 6105, and there's a couple great shots of him in the movie wearing that watch. And again, if you haven't seen that movie, you definitely got to check it out. You know, and this was a pretty beefy watch for 1970, 44 millimeters, not counting the crown. So maybe 45, 46 with the crown. The crown sitting there at 4 o'clock, and just a super beefy case, all stainless steel, Seiko in-house movement, Seiko Hardlex crystal, 100% original Seiko design. Now, you couldn't hand wind this watch, but it did feature a hacking movement. This watch originally came on a rubber strap, and those original rubber straps are harder to find than the watches themselves. The first versions of the 6105 to come out above the 6 o'clock on the dial actually said waterproof instead of water resist. And to find one of those in good condition that's a waterproof instead of water resist, you're talking a big premium over the ones that just say water resist. If you are on the market to pick up a Seiko 6105, you're going to be looking at spending at least $1,000 up to all the way past $5,000. You can clearly see that the Seiko Turtle is the newest version of the Seiko 6105, or I guess you could call it the sequel to the Seiko 6105. I don't know about you guys, but I'd love to own one of these in my collection one day. That being said, if you want something that looks close, you could go to the Seiko Turtle, like we said, the sequel to the Seiko 6105, or you could check out 54. They do a lot of homage watches, and they have one that they just blatantly call the 54 6105, and it does feature a Seiko movement inside the case. These Seiko 6105s are getting harder and harder to get as the vintage market kind of heats up there. And of course, being in such a classic film and being worn by such an iconic character is always going to keep the price of these relatively high. And that wraps up another episode of It's Complicated. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time on another episode of It's Complicated.